We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about Kanye. It just kind of made me think a little bit about just like where hip hop is going. So obviously we know that hip hop kind of started as a voice of what was going on in the inner city. Rappers like Grandmaster Flash and NWA and Curtis Blow with the breaks. Like it was kind of speaking to this inner city struggle. And I feel like with the success that has been brought to hip hop, in that it's now the number one genre in the world, it's starting to become this really terrible bastardized version of itself that wouldn't even recognize itself if it looked itself in the mirror. When I really look at that, I look at guys like Kanye, who is very clearly looking for this, conservative, younger conservative base. And I look at the way that Drake has been moving lately with, the shit that he said about Megan Thee Stallion, the shit that he says about black women in general, the fact that I don't think I've ever seen him struggle, yet he pretends like he's struggled all his life. And so it's almost like a caricature of what was once there. And then you see all these Kodak Black, for example, or even Benny the Butcher, I think, endorsed Trump. And I just wonder at what level is hip hop going to continue to bastardize itself and almost pimp itself out to this conservative level. Again, I think when we talked about Kanye specifically, you had mentioned that, Trump, look who's in office. And so is that a just for now thing? Is that we're rolling with it because Trump is in office now? Or is it we're appealing to this
when the Democrats win, they go to their rallies, they sing, they shake ass, they pay checks, they show up. When the Republicans win, they go to their rallies, they dance, they shake ass, they pay checks, and they show up. That's just now the list of people who are willing to flip flop is going to shock you, right? When Trump has Snoop Dogg as a headliner on one of his rallies, it's going to shock you. When Rick Ross shows up at one of his rallies, it's going to shock you. I don't think it should. I think you should treat these folks as the millionaires that they are. They're not aligned with you in your thought process, your morals, even your motivations. They are not part of your class. Some of these folks identify with other rich folks internationally more than they will identify with you. You think you could get on a level of even blackness with some of these folks. That shit doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
They align with white people 5,000 miles away from them much more than they could identify with the black people that work at the gas station down the street from their house. And that's just a reality. So it should never really surprise you when you see those type of relationships. What you should do is stop looking to those folks for advice. Stop looking for those folks to lead you. It will become less effective for them to be used as tools of ignorance to just usher you in a direction because of your relationship to them. It shouldn't be like that. Right? You should be skeptical, especially of individuals who ain't got shit to do with politics. Why the hell would I listen to Bimini Butcher to tell me to vote for somebody?
Well, no, that's insane. I think the idea is
not
that
voting Griselda
or his fan base at the very least is not one that would align itself typically with.
No, absolutely not. But then again, you are talking about how the younger crowd is more conservative nowadays and stuff like that. Even just hearing that is kind of nuts. But it's a different type of conservatism too. It's not the old Republicans that we grew up with.
It's like a weird incel conservative.
Like if y'all were the Republicans of old, y'all be out here. I don't know. It wouldn't be so much of the cuckery that goes on in those spaces. Men used to see it as a weakness to be yelled or be put down by other stronger men. But now, they sign up for it and they pay upwards of $3,000 to have it done on a regular basis. And there's an army of them. It used to be embarrassing for someone to have to publicly tell you how to get women. And now you all flock to them no matter how successful they are at doing it actually in real life or not.
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that, because I guess more so than like who they should vote for, I guess what I am speaking more towards is like how Drake almost seems like he's in Fresh and Fit, or like, obviously a lot of these guys are doing work with these streamers. So then like Aiden Ross and XQC and Academics. Academics himself has been on Fresh and Fit more times than I can count. So like aligning yourself with this streamer base at some level seems like you're trying to appeal to this younger demographic. And it's like, why are they trying to appeal to that younger conservative fan base who I would almost feel is niche compared to your broader black fan base? Is it because they spend more on your merch or, you know, go to your tours and shit like that are becoming more and more outrageously priced? Or is it because you align with them in some form or fashion?
It's a good question. It's a natural progressive shit. Wanting hip hop to stay the face of struggle is insane. Shouldn't the fact that we have folk in hip hop that didn't struggle be a good thing? Absolutely, as long as they rap like that. That's why I give DDG even though I never really looked at him as a rapper or even to this day really gravitate to him for that. He's not rapping about bricks that he never sold. He's not rapping about guns he never shot. He's not rapping about people that he never robbed or wars that he never participated in. Mm-hmm. He's just talking about the money that he has.
Yeah.
All of it's legitimate. People are enthused about it. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the brand of rap today that only highlights the part of the struggle that makes them money, and then they take that money and then vote conservative. The very people who exacerbate those conditions that they're talking about or faking about, whoever we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you're using struggle for profit, but then you forsake struggle to protect said profit. Mm-hmm. Right? Like it's exploitative.
I would argue that a different way. I would argue that even if hip hop continues to be a voice of the struggle, I thought we got to a point where a struggle, the definition of the struggle, didn't always have to be what you saw in the streets. I thought when Kanye West came out, the struggle was the struggle of being accepted as a rapper in general when everybody else is talking about gangsters and having guns and selling dope. Like, you are a regular black man just trying to be accepted in the hip hop industry. When it was Drake, I thought the struggle was you struggling to be accepted because you're this nerdy looking caterpillar eyebrow looking motherfucker who struggles with your relationships with women. Like, I didn't have to go that far on him. But the point is, right, the struggle doesn't necessarily have to be what you see in the inner city. I thought we got to a point where the struggle could be anything, to the point where women are now joining the game and talking about their struggles. Now, granted, a lot of them seem to be talking about the same fucking struggles, which is not even a struggle, to be honest with you. But we got female rappers in the game now, is my point. We got gay rappers in the game now who can speak to their struggle of being accepted in the game now. Like, the struggle can be whatever you want it to be, but you're trying to speak to the story of that. And that's my argument, is that it seems like hip hop has become more so about flexing than it has whatever it was originally started on.
What car you driving? How many chains you got? Where you live? Where'd you vacation at? How many expensive brands that nobody's heard of can you name in one song?
Which is fine. Obviously, I like that, but like, that was supposed to be in relation to something. Like, it wasn't just supposed to be that. It wasn't. Your
left
life
wrist on Splish Splash, right wrist on Capri Sun.
Your life wasn't supposed to be an Instagram reel when you became a rapper. It was supposed to mean a lot more, I feel like, at some level. And so that, I mean, I guess that's kind of where I'm coming from. And then to another point is, you know, there were pillars for hip hop. Like, there was DJing, b-boying, MCing, and graffiti.
There were also differing styles of hip hop before. Everybody rapped the same now.
Yeah.
New Playboy Cardi.
Yeah. Like, or it could be Future.
Or it could be Future, right?
Or it could be Lil Baby.
Or it could be Lil Baby.
And I guess
Margella, her man's, and some other shit.
That's a fact.
Double R and a big bitch. Got a bitch and she's sucking dick. Then it's over with.
It always had the flexing element. Slick Rick looked ridiculous. The Ghostface Eagle is ridiculous. We still have artists that speak to the real, but most artists charismatic.
It wasn't only stuff. First of all, Slick Rick could have named you a couple brands that he was wearing, but he wasn't talking about Versace, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Van Cleef, Montclair. Like, we didn't know these places existed. You couldn't name 3 Italian fashion houses back in the 90s when niggas was rapping. You could name Coogee, Versace, maybe Louis.
Maybe.
That's about it. And even that, it wasn't like we gotta talk about that in a song or it don't go. If you ain't got this, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't always that. Yeah. Like, how many times did you hear Wu-Tang rapping about how many chains they had on? How many times you heard Tribe talking about the cars that they drove? How many times Outkast talked about the designer brands that they was wearing?
And not to say that they haven't.
Right, not to say that they never popped fly, but that is just not... It is a requirement of rappers today to talk about the cars, their jewelry, and the women that they sleeping with. It's just it is a standard form, and in that way, everybody is the same. They used to flex about their ability. That's a fact. Right? The first thing that you boast about is not the material things that you have alongside of you.
It's how much dope you are
than the other MCs. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 1,000%.
And we don't even got to go back to the 80s and 90s. We can talk for like our generation of rap that was doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever get another Control verse.
Facts. Yeah, I don't have a problem with the flexing at all. Like, there probably should be a balance at some level. My point is, I just think, and maybe it has to do with, or maybe my mind is set on gatekeeping, because I do think that the more fans that don't understand what real hip hop is about, the more bastardized hip hop becomes.
That's a perfect example, Marte. It's over focusing on the threes in NBA, basically, or to expand it a little bit, the over accentuation of offensive play.
Yeah,
right.
Without defense,
to the detriment of the defensive player.
Yeah. Yep.
So now glitz and glam became more of the driving force as opposed to talent.
Mm-hmm. It was never supposed to be that. And so I just don't know where it stops. I do think some actual structure of gatekeeping should probably be in place to prevent it from getting too ridiculous. But, maybe that's for discussions to come.